be a sponge, and then bring the juice.
By focusing on your improvement, by focusing on your progress, and eliminating any fixed mindset that you may have and acts of perfectionism, then you encourage your own mastery.
On some level, we do what we want to do 24 hours a day. Now, sometimes it may not seem like that, but if I'm choosing to work instead of sleep, what I'm actually saying is keeping my job is more important than sleeping.
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of getting beat. What can I do to get over this hump? So mentally, that's when I kind of put that forefront, like, hey, it's either all or nothing.
I like to put failure in quotations because I don't believe that failure is true failure if you're looking at it with the right mindset.
The truth is, the journey to greatness is hard. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes focus, and every day you have to decide what you value, what you want to pursue, and what you want to achieve. And if you dig deep enough, if you push hard enough, we all have what it takes to be great. Welcome to the Edge of Greatness.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Dose. It is Tuesday, February 14th. It's Valentine's Day, and as you can tell, I'm still battling whatever this bug is, and it's hanging out in my throat. And so there's a very good chance that I'm going to start having a coughing fit. So I'm going to try to keep this extra short today. All right. I got another thing from the Super Bowl, and normally I won't hang on to a sporting event for more than a day. I just typically like to move forward and move through things. But I heard a beautiful quote from Jalen Hurts after being asked what he learned from the Super Bowl loss from a young reporter. And this is what he said. I think the beautiful part about it is everyone experiences different pains. Everyone experiences different agonies of life. But you decide if you want to learn from it. You decide if you want that to be a teachable moment. I know I do. And I believe that this right here is a prime example of two pillars of greatness. It's a mindset pillar. It's one that he's built over the course of his life and career. And it's a resilience pillar. Because he's not dwelling on what just happened. He's looking for what he can learn to do next. Those two pillars together, the way he's built them, are very strong for him. And it started back at Alabama when he started to deal with adversity. And he carried it with him to Oklahoma. And then to the Eagles. And now into the Super Bowl moment. And I think that we haven't seen the last of Jalen Hurts in a Super Bowl. I think he'll find a way back. I think he's a very talented young man, and I think he has the mindset of greatness. I think he has the work ethic and the discipline and the resilience and the courage, and he's got purpose, and he's got good people around him. I mean, he's in a place where we could see his name popping up on a lot of different things for a very long time. But ultimately, what I want you guys to take away from that is next time something bad happens in your life, next time something hard happens in your life, remember, we all face different pains, different agonies, different setbacks, different challenges. But we have the choice of how we look at that moment, what we learn from that moment, what we take from that moment. If we are constantly in those moments and blaming others, if we are constantly in those moments and pointing our fingers at why it didn't go our way, whether it was a person or a thing or an event or something that we have zero control over, those moments will continue to happen. But if we find ourselves in those moments, if we find ourselves in a moment like that where we lose and there's pain involved or we have a setback, and our first question isn't why'd they do that, or it's that person's fault, or that shouldn't have been there, or whatever the thing we want to point our finger at. And instead we go, interesting, what can I learn from this? I believe we're going to find ourselves having a lot more success from that loss, from that failure. I've been listening to a book recently on Audible, Tribe of Mentors. And what it basically is it's a whole bunch of people telling their story about what they think of a handful of very basic questions. But one of those questions is, what is your favorite failure? What is your favorite setback? And I almost made it. And they all, every single one of them, has a massive loss, failure, setback moment that sparked a huge growth opportunity, win opportunity, change opportunity that they hold on to dearly. Every single one of them. There's not a person out there who hasn't faced adversity, loss, or setback in this book. Hundreds of people, all very successful, all have some moment of loss, but they choose to see that loss differently. They choose to use that loss for fuel. They choose to learn. Keep learning. Keep reaching for the stars. Fall flat on your face, but remember, whenever we fall, always get up.
Thank you for joining us today on the Edge of Greatness podcast. If you haven't yet, please take a minute now to subscribe and review our show. Join us again next week as we continue to dig deeper into the key components of greatness. The path to greatness is never linear, so remember to keep pursuing greatness no matter what. Keep stretching your abilities, reach for the stars, and fall flat on your face. But remember, no matter what happens, whenever we fall, always get up. Until next time, I'm Charles Schultz, and this was the Edge of Greatness podcast.